Epic Tales back in the building, and today I'm with one of my oldest friends on BookTube, Katya. And just like a quick introduction, if you don't already know her, me and Katya, we started BookTube like around the same time. And since then, we've just had like a really, really great relationship. And yeah, she was the first person to tag me on a BookTube tag video. And since then, I've been watching her channel and I've just enjoyed it. Like she comes like from a very, she reads a lot of diverse literature. And yeah, if you haven't seen her channel, you should go check it out. It feels like, wrapping yourself in a warm blanket and drinking hot chocolate as you're listening to someone, significantly more intelligent than you tell you her opinions on the books that she has read. So, yeah,
Wow.
give it up
Wow.
for Katya.
glowing introduction there. Yeah, so I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me. First time in 2 years I'm doing a live show. So I was like, oh, do I know how to do a live show?
Well, like yeah, like I'm really, really excited to have you. It's kind of like a little bit weird because at every point during my booktube journey, I've always like I've always known what my relationship with you. Like I can remember different points in my life when I was going through ups and downs. I remember a video I watched while I was going through that period. So, you're part of like the booktubers that I watch, I respect, and you have such a great channel.
So I know what you mean about that because I've gone through the same sort of process because after a certain time on BookTube, you sort of like evolve naturally or organically. You come in with, certain expectations about BookTube, or on my part, very few, because I actually didn't know BookTube was a thing when I joined. I joined during 2000 when there was COVID and there was lockdown, and I saw one video where someone was talking about a book, and I was like, "Oh, I could talk about a book." So I went on with with a book review, and then like 3 videos down the line, I came across the BookTube newbie tag, and I was like, "What?" And yeah, BookTube's a thing, and I love it.
Yeah, like a lot of people showing up. Hi Alicia, hi Usman, hello D. D is fast becoming one of my favorite booktubers as well. She's just as sick in the mind as all of us on this side of booktube, and yeah, I love her content. She's currently like reading Malazan right now, which is absolutely impressive and crazy. And I'm going to go through my Malazan journey this year. Um, and yeah, like check her channel out. Sochi, of course, I love this guy. I spoke with him a while back, and he gave me some really good advice, and I appreciate it. And yeah, and Black and Blue Color is here as well. Thank you guys for showing up so much. So today we're going to be talking about a topic, right? That I saw, Katya made a video of, and I've been seeing a lot of booktubers coming up with this video, and it's the topic of why so many booktubers are quitting. I don't know if you remember, Katya just spoke about how she joined during the pandemic. During that year, it was as if every day, like 100 booktubers were joining BookTube, and they were so excited about it. Talking about the books that they liked, and but then after how many years now? 3 years, 3.5 years. So many people have fallen off. Katya, what do you think is like the biggest factor surrounding this?
Do you know, it's different for everyone. It's a combination of things. Because when I did my video, and you won't believe this, but my video is like 11 months ago. But you're absolutely right. I've been seeing like almost every couple of weeks since then, or I think it's just a thing where people are really feeling it, that, their favorite channel is somehow gone while they, expected them to be a staple and to be around. And then it's suddenly like, oh, they're not coming back, or are they coming back? Because some people do the hi, I am leaving, and some people just disappear. So I think it's a combination. But I think it's a time factor. And we had a lot more time indoors
Mm,
during 2000, and we were looking for ways to actually fill that with stuff that we love. Now we're getting to that sort of like busy point again, and we're trying to juggle. And is the payoff good enough any longer? Because there's been changes on YouTube with the algorithm and how often your channel gets to be seen in impressions and stuff. So that's my overall impression.
I remember when I first joined, like I became immediately obsessed with the analytics, because at the time I believed that if I just understood the analytics and I listened to what it was telling me, I'd be able to quantify how to, make my thumbnails and, get the best impressions I can and
Yep.
everything. But after this many years on booktube, I've just relaxed with all of that, and I'm taking it in my stride. And before this call started, I told you that um I if I cannot integrate it into my lifestyle, it's not something I think I can do sustainably anyway. And we've seen a lot of people come and go. um how do you think, like, because that YouTube is broken down into different communities, how do you think the algorithm plays a part in booktube? Like, how do you think the algorithm works for booktube? Because we've seen some people be good successes, we've seen the majority of people like in that zone of releasing videos and not getting much recognition. We've seen a different variety of results. So how do you think the YouTube algorithm works with booktube specifically?
So no one's cracked the algorithm, but my take is that very often with when you do something with passion, it's not necessarily going to be a success. You do have to know how to sort of like showcase it. So I do think first impressions, the thumbnail does come into it with all of these extra things that you don't always think about when you first join booktube, because you think it's just the content, but it's about the impression as well. um Gosh, oh, I'm going to lose my train of thought. Terrible. So I think the algorithm is really, really, no one's going to crack it. But I have noticed that if you're a booktuber who comes in with a specific niche within the niche, because booktube is so huge, you're more likely to, the narrower it is, the more likely booktube is going to know what you're about, and the algorithm sort of connects you to who they think you're going to click with. And as an eclectic reader, or as someone who covers different topics and everything, and not necessarily popular ones, then perhaps you're going to get far less in terms of the impressions. I have noticed, for example, some people started like me, really eclectic, and then they've narrowed down to be prize focused. So book prizes, I think that is quite popular to a certain degree, to about 5,000 subscriber count. This is my observation. And that's not me. So I sometimes like book prizes, but I can't see myself, being linked into just doing book prizes, because I would get really tired of it. It's quite stressful.
Yeah, like it's trying to decide what content you're going to do. Sometimes I find that there's a balance between going after what the algorithm is pushing you towards, or what you are really excited about. The
Yeah.
consequence is, like, either way, I feel like you're giving up something, in terms of if you go for what you want, people might not watch it. And I'm coming from a place where sometimes I spend days making videos, days, sleepless nights, and sometimes people don't watch it, and then I'm like, okay, well, like, I really enjoyed that video, so I don't regret it. But it's not equivalent to the amount of effort that I put in. But then at the same time, you make that video for the algorithm, and you see it gets a lot of views. So I feel like there's this game we play about trying to find the right balance to be
Yeah.
able to create content that people will watch, you feel rewarded for. And yeah. And he said, Dee says something very interesting here. She says, I have to be really honest and think that there's not the views that can be disheartening, especially if you don't make booktube friends. And I think that is something that um, is very important. Having like friends in like actually creating your own community within the community, where I kind of have a little bit of a personal relationship with most of the people on my Discord, which I'm so grateful for. And just being able to talk about, oh, what are you reading, what are your thoughts. Sometimes we get personal and I get into their lives and everything, and some of these people are like watching my videos, and there's just like an extra sense of responsibility, so it's no longer just about me. And I know that being on booktube for as long as I have, having friends has played a huge role in being able to stay for as long as I have been. So, do you believe, right, having been on BookTube for at least over 3 years now, do you believe that burnout is a major issue for booktubers?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like when you see these videos of people saying that they're leaving, I think someone who started maybe a year after us, and who has been away almost a year now, is Anne with the books.
Mm,
And she had done her video to say why she was leaving and everything, and it was about burnout, because she was very consistently, and that's the advice we get, isn't it? Be consistent. And I have to admit, I haven't been as consistent as YouTube always tells me to be. But anyway, so as someone who is really, really consistent, and did reach over the 1,000 subscribers, I think she's on like 1.1 or something like that. It was that sort of burnout factor, because she was doing it consistently and she was getting some engagement, but not a lot for the effort. And then she had all sorts of things going on in her personal life, and that's the thing. We've all got things going on in life, and we put a lot of effort into the content, and then you have to say, is it worth it? And sometimes the answer is not. Sometimes it's a break that you need, and sometimes you leave.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. So Sochi makes some really good points. Like this idea that like the algorithm is indifferent. I feel that's the right attitude
Yeah.
to have if you want to go, because if you have your expectations, and you have an expectations for the amount of effort you put in, and you think the algorithm is going to, and then that doesn't work, it's very, very heartbreaking. So that's the right attitude to have if you're in this game. And yeah, like you're going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's the right attitude to have, but I like to suspect that it's trying something. What that is, I don't know, but I kind of feel like I have put some videos out where I thought this could be successful, and then it isn't. But there's one video that I did on the classics, because it's not something that I read all of the time. There's four sort of like main genres that I like to stick to, and the classics is probably the lower one down from translated fiction, fantasy, and all that. But this one video that I did, I thought I think that's going to click with a lot of people, and it had, I think it's probably about 20 times more views than my average videos.
Hmm.
So I think there's something, but what it is, I couldn't replicate it.
Yeah,
So there we
yeah,
go.
yeah. And sometimes it feels like shooting in the dark as well. But if you ever feel, because I feel like for me, anytime I feel like, oh, I finally cracked the algorithm tells me, no, you haven't. No,
No.
you haven't. Stay humble. So very, very interesting experience. I make a point of reaching out to new booktubers to make friends. So if they're not getting many views, they don't feel alone and get a bit lost. Yeah, that's like such a good thing to do. I remember, when I first came into booktube, at the time during the pandemic, I got so welcomed. Like everybody was so welcoming. And there are people that have stuck with me and like have consistently watched my channel, even with the ups and downs and the lack of consistency and all of that. So like booktube is definitely a very interesting space, and playing a role in helping people who are upcoming is a big part of it. Oh, digging the drip epic. Yeah, this is my what they call it. You tell me. So Katia lived in Nigeria before, so she's one of us.
I left when I was 6.
You know, but six is enough for the culture to have like a lasting, because Nigeria is very, very intense. It's so
Yeah.
intense, crazy. So, and and something else that I really enjoy about Katya's channel is that it's so diverse. I really enjoyed that video you did on the book with the women in Japan that have been that went through some sexual assault. And
Oh, yeah, so I got a few people, like loads of likes on that one. That was a Black Box by
that,
Shiori Ito. Yeah, so the interesting thing about that book, so that was published in 2017, and then this year, I noticed an article which talked about the legislation that resulted from that, and it changed a number of things in Japan, including the age of consent, which I never knew in Japan was 13, and they raised that to 16, and all sorts of things because it dealt with sexual assault. But I have had a few strange comments on that one, but yes, yeah, it was
because when you're
a good
talking about it,
discussion.
when you're talking about a topic like that, you're definitely going to get strange comments,
Yeah.
But I feel like books like that are so important, and just seeing, especially in a country like Japan. Now, I love the Japanese culture. There's so much about the Japanese culture that I love when it comes to like manga, when it comes to like their history with the samurais, that I think is just so cool and everything. But at the same time, like how the world views them in terms of the whole sexual assault thing is it's like they have some growing up to do as a country. So that book is very, very important, and I added it to my TBR as something that I have to read. But your review on it was really,
Thank
really
you.
good. So yeah, like this is another one suffering from the same the same ailment as me. I'm as consistent as an eclipse, but it's pretty special. This guy, I love his energy in his videos so much, so much. He's so funny, and yeah, he just like you just the kind of guy you want to drink a beer with at the end of the day, and you feel like you can talk to him about anything. So check out his channel, and even though he's not consistent, anytime he shows up, he really, really shows out. So check out his video, his thing. So I have a question. How do you feel? I know, like I was initially asking you, what's your Twitter handle so that I can, send, I can, do some marketing for this live stream. And you're like, I'm not on Twitter, on Instagram. How do you think other social medias affect the booktube, like the booktube algorithm? Not the booktube algorithm, but the booktube community, the reading community in general.
Okay, so I think that is one of the reasons that you find people quitting. Definitely from, like discussions around why are booktubers leaving. There's a perception that perhaps booktube is one of the less favored communities at the moment, which really surprised me. But book talk is all the rage. I haven't joined book talk. I'm not great at the short form content, and a lot of the times I feel like there's some good short form content, but I'm surprised how many times different content creators use the same skits when it comes to those, short bits. So I don't really watch a lot of shorts on YouTube. I don't watch Book Talk. But I think that a lot of people are getting book recommendations from book talkers. And I'm on Bookstagram. Um, because I do think, it's a nice pace for me to
Hmm.
actually be sharing book reviews. I just do the short, review on there, and interactions are pleasant. Whereas when I was years ago on Twitter, I just found it so negative, and I just couldn't see the point, so I came off there. But yeah, I think different platforms do affect BookTube, but I don't have personally the perception that it is the less favored. If you think about the most influential people who are reviewing on platforms, the International Booker Prize coming, like it's being announced tomorrow, and Jack Edwards from BookTube is doing the presenting. So I think, yeah, it's still very relevant. despite our fears sometimes.
Yeah. So for me, like I have a very interesting experience. If I'm trying to get attention on a video that I did for like a short, as much attention as possible for a short period of time, is TikTok. You can do a TikTok and literally just blow up. Like it's the easiest place to blow up. But I don't like it because I feel like it's difficult to build like a real community. It's like everybody that sees your stuff, aside from like the select few, are new people all the
Okay.
time. So I feel like it's difficult to build there, although some people have done it consistently. Twitter, I feel like Twitter is a necessary evil. Why?
Oh.
Because, right, as toxic as the environment is, it's also where a lot of the writers do their marketing. And
Yeah.
I feel like having that connection, being able to be like, okay, I created content for you, let me put it. And Twitter also has the highest conversion rate. So if you market on Instagram, you market on Twitter, you market on TikTok, you market on other platforms, right? Like say you're trying to drive people to your YouTube video, drive traffic to your YouTube video. Twitter would have the
Highest
most
conversion.
most clicks.
Okay.
Look at
Because
like
I don't get much
from my
conversion.
experience. That's from my experience.
Okay, that's really interesting. That's such a good point because I don't get much conversion from Instagram. So that's
Mm.
a very good
I
point.
don't get, I stopped get, that's why I stopped posting on Instagram a lot. But I
Yeah.
plan to go back on Instagram and just like drop videos without even just caring. Just drop as many videos as I can throw up and then, go back to my other stuff, but like Instagram doesn't really do much of a conversion thing for me. So, yeah. Alicia makes a really good point here. She said reading slumps
Yeah.
also affect content, and then I can get in my own head about it. So I get reading slumps when I give myself like a hard schedule. I'm going to read this, then I'm going to read this. When I start trying to follow the TBR, then it's like, I'm not reading this right now. I'm hearing about this other book that I want to read, but then obligation and promises I've made, I have to read this book. And that's when I start getting reading slumps. Like how do you? Because I'm sure it's something every book reader goes through. How do you navigate that as a booktuber?
Reading slumps.
Yes.
You're gonna curse me, but I don't get reading slumps.
Ooh, okay. Like tell us what the
I know everyone's always saying reading slump, and then I keep quiet because it's like
you can't
I
relate.
I can't relate to reading slump because I always have a book on the go. I think probably one of the reasons I can always have a book on the go is I'm lucky that I don't have just one format that I stick to. So I know a lot of people who'll go, I can't do audio. And then that's one more format that I have than you do to enjoy. So if you're tired of, lugging your physical book around and whatever, and I find myself a favorite narrator, I carry on with a book there, and also the Kindle. So I'm, always switching between different formats. I don't know if that makes the point, but I don't get slumps.
I completely agree with you. Like a change in format helps me out a lot. If I'm finding it difficult to pick a book up, I just play an audiobook while I'm working or when I'm cleaning the house. And then
Yeah.
at some point it just like helps me. But I do go through reading stuff usually when life, when life lives and I'm going through something and it's just difficult to wrap my head around like a fictional story at the time. Like I need my attention on, it's usually like when there's so much external stress. But I've come to a point where like when it's kind of like the symptom and the cure for me, because when I'm going through hard times, I go through a reading slump, but then to get out of the hard times, I have to start reading again. So it's like I'm just talking mentally.
Yeah.
So it has like there's a weird correlation and a red relationship there.
So what I do get? I get genre slumps. And there's times that I will lose interest in nonfiction. And it really depends, like if you read something really hard hitting, for example, the book that we were talking about earlier, something hard hitting, nonfiction, it's really powerful, it sits with me, but then I need like a palate cleanser, and then I'll be picking up fantasy or, some other genre.
I think that has to help as well. That has to help as well. Like alternating between, for me, I alternate between classics and like grimdark fantasy. And yeah, like I'm open, and open to reading even a lot more. Like last year I read Blood Meridian. That's like a western, but of course it's like really really dark and as well. But it's like having a change in genre definitely helps out, because you get exposed to like uh different tropes, not the ones
Yeah.
that you're always reading over and over again, and that will definitely help. I believe D, I think the book you're talking about is Black Box. That's the book we've been talking about, right?
Yeah.
Black
Yeah.
Box. So read the book. Do you want to just give like a quick synopsis so that like you know?
Yeah, so it's a really difficult one to. It's obviously nonfiction. It's about the experience of Shiori Ito, a journalist in Japan, who was sexually assaulted by someone who also works in journalism, but a very influential name with good contacts in Japan as well. So quite a powerful person. And she took it to the police, and they told her not to pursue it because it was in essence what they call a black box. So
Mm,
something that is non-prosecutable because it's her word against the other person's. And so she went through a very long time of over 2 years. At some point, they threw out the case. The prosecutor threw out the case, and then she followed up. Why was it thrown out? And they went, actually, no, you're right. We were wrong to do that. And they went ahead with the court case. And the result of that was she was awarded compensation, monetary compensation, which she actually had been offered outside of court. So the perpetrator was offering the money before it gets to court and said, let's settle it this way. But she said she wanted to go to court so that she could ask for legislative change. And that pretty much took until last year to come about.
mm, mm. Very powerful story. Very very powerful story. You're not alone, Epic. I've been dealing with a slump. Mental health, man. Got to take care of it. Yeah, like you got to take care of yourself, man. You have to take care of yourself. Like for me, like anytime I'm going through some mental, like when I'm dealing with some mental health stories, I have books that I just reread. One of them is the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. Like that stuff is really like chicken soup to my mind. No matter what I'm going through at the time, when I start reading it, like everything falls into perspective, and I'm able to like get myself out and have an outlook on life where um I'm dealing with it a little bit more positively, and just that extra boost. So either the Enchiridion of Epictetus or the Meditations of Marcus Aurelius, which are basically books about Stoicism, one of my favorite philosophies. um so back to topic. The pressure of making a video was ruining my reading experience. This is a huge one. This is a huge one. Like whether you're making videos to stay consistent, or you're making videos like in my case where like requires a lot of time and effort, or you're in automatic mode, and you're just like, is always so much pressure, because the creative process is sometimes so draining. It's so inspiring and positive and yay and great and everything, but it's also so draining. So how do you deal with the pressure of making videos, creating videos?
By being inconsistent. No, so I do sometimes really push
Yeah.
myself to go ahead, and like, and then when I start I really get into it, but it is
Yes.
about that. It's about that push to get yourself to start doing the bloomin' video, but before that it's kind of like, oh, maybe I can just skip this week.
I
Which
know.
is really not good. But no, I do try and look look for certain things that I got out of the book, because there's no use in spotlighting books that I thought were good but I don't think have got that much value. So I read loads of books and then I won't mention them until the end of month wrap up, and then they get maybe three lines. And I think in the past I didn't used to like those monthly wrap up videos. I was like, well, what's the point of that? You're sort of like putting them all together sort of thing. And then I was like, do you know what? I see a point, because there's a number of books I've read that I just never mention otherwise. So I've become a fan over the years of the end of month book wrap, where you get to just, put the ones that haven't quite inspired you as much to do a video in full for them, but you don't want to entirely miss out. So that's kind of how I deal with it.
Yeah, that's yeah, like my experience. So the thing with booktube videos like wrap ups is that, like, I don't usually watch them because I do not get enough information that satisfies me.
Yeah.
And if someone is going to talk about a video for a book for what, 30 seconds, for me it's kind of like that is usually not enough for me. And it just like kind of puts me in it, because I don't really watch wrap up videos, I don't make wrap up videos. So I only try and make the content that like excites me. And sometimes when I'm sitting down, I'm thinking about the work. Oh, I have to write a script. I have to, get the animation, the art. I need to. It's so heavy, and it's not just dependent on me because I'm working with other people as well, and I need to like also organize them and get them in the frame of mind to just get started so that we can start creating some momentum. So for me, it has. I'm trying to create a system where I can be more consistent, because I feel like the people who have been watching me for such a long time deserve better.
Yeah.
Uh, but at the same time, right, like I need to be able to produce you know, at my best as much as I can, you know.
Yeah.
So, because another thing is like with content becoming so saturated, there's so much content online. I feel like quality would stand out by itself, whether it's like through speaking or, creating something in a unique way, or just like being genuine as a human being. Like it's quite quality content is going to stand out. You're going to say something?
Yeah, so I was going to say, when I first joined, I was surprised that a lot of content is a weekly wrap up. And then I kind of felt, the same, like, okay, so you've read 7 books and we get a tiny bit about each of them. But the reason that I'm seeing the appeal now, especially for the end of month ones, is that you get more interaction. And I don't know why that is. So I am very similar to you. I like, really going into the one topic, into the one book. But somehow, when I was doing that originally, I would get a lot of people kind of going, "Oh, I'd like to, like maybe you can condense that, because I prefer something shorter." Or rather, there was this whole thing about, I was really stressed in the first year because I was like, oh my goodness, so many people think that the back of a book is a spoiler and they don't read the back of the book. How the heck do they even know to pick the book up? Is it just word of mouth? So I was like really getting into my headspace about what
Mm,
is a spoiler, what's not a spoiler. And everyone's got a different threshold for what they consider that to be. And so I feel safest when I'm doing the monthly wrap up, but that doesn't stop me from being passionate about doing the really in-depth ones.
yeah, yeah. Like, and like again, like when you watch her videos, like that passion is something that is so evident, and that is why I will always be a huge fan of your channel and
Thank you.
everything. So this, but I don't know if you've heard about this book, Malazan. Oh my god, I've read book one like 3 times now, because I'm almost like, okay, I want to like push on with momentum. I want to keep going, but it's such a heavy book to read, because half the time the book is just like, it just gives you a sense, a feeling, but about, okay, the tone and the theme, but you never quite know what is going on. And I heard from people that maybe in book 3, book 4, you finally get it. but that's like a lot of pages because each book is so dense. So anyone that's reading Malazan, like, I respect you.
I've not read it, but I've seen it on BookTube quite a bit that people are, reading it or they want to read it.
I rely on this community to get slums. That is something that the booktube community has helped me with so much. When I'm looking for a book for a specific mood, there are specific booktubers I'll reach out to, and yeah, I'll just watch like what the latest stuff they've put out, and I'm like, okay, well, that sounds interesting, and then I add it to my TBR. By the way, like, how many booktubers would you say you watch at a given time? Are you like, so for instance, like Britain from some Oki dude, I don't know, I think this guy watches like 50 channels at the same time, and he seems to know everything that's going on in the booktube community, and he interviews every booktube. Like, I can't keep up, man. I have like a few select that I watch, and aside from that, like, I do other things on YouTube. So what's like, how many booktubers do you watch at a time?
It varies. It really depends on, like how busy a week is and stuff. So sometimes I'll go with a whole week. Like this past week, I've watched maybe 4 channels. And sometimes I can watch, like about 30 in one Saturday. So on a weekend, if I'm not, doing loads of chores and stuff, that's like my catch up time. And then I go from one to another. But I far prefer it if I can like stretch it out over the week. And, but it's not, again, a lack of consistency in terms of how many I actually follow. But I was actually, there's something that you said earlier about having to sort of like work with others to do your videos because of the nature of the videos that you do. And one of the things that I was thinking about is that creativity and originality, sometimes it kind of feels like it's not rewarded on BookTube. So it's tricky because some people like rough and ready, like it's kind of like you haven't even wiped your camera, and you just you just arrive in your pajamas or whatever, and you just have a chat, which is a great feeling because you kind of feel like, oh, this is nice and cozy and stuff. But that's not the only booktube, is it? So it kind of feels like if you put a lot of effort in, people kind of go, oh, but you did loads of editing, and that's almost frowned on sometimes. Or am I imagining that?
You're not imagining that for sure. I've had people DM me, maybe don't edit so much and focus on, being consistent, that your channel will grow. Um, I've had people talk to me about it as well, but part of the reason I've been able to do this consistently, consistently, but like I've been here for 3 years, I've been here for a while, is that like I enjoy the editing process. It's like the editing process is a huge part of why I love being a YouTuber. It's a huge part of why. And to this comment where what Dee is making here, where she says, we on BookTube don't get the attention of bookshops we deserve. I feel like with the potential to be creative on YouTube, like the potential to be creative on social media in general, is going to really, really change things in the future. The publishing companies and the marketing and getting information about books, it needs an upgrade because on the writer's side, a lot of people are complaining about it. On the reader's side, a lot of people are complaining about it. Like now, for instance, in the fantasy genre, there's a less emphasis on epic fantasy, and now people are going towards cozy fantasy. So that leaves a
Yeah.
huge vacuum
Oh
for
yeah.
for epic fantasy right now. There's a huge opportunity there because the publishers are not like, they are trying to look for their focus is more on money and everything.
Yeah.
But with if you're on YouTube and you have nobody telling you what to do and how to do it, and you can really express your creativity, create something that is engaging and nice and gets people excited about a book, I feel like it has a lot of potential, and I feel like, you know, the future is like the future of publishing is in social media, and particularly booktube, because booktube encourages long form content where you can
Yeah.
talk about something and elaborate it and express it in different ways. So for the people who frown on my editing, maybe my channel is not for you, because it's like, and that's fine, you can go to someone else's channel, you know yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt that when I put a lot of effort into some videos, it's kind of like, oh, do you know what? Maybe I should just, scale it back, because it would be like, oh, I could, because it's quite fun when you finally get into it, to learn a bit more about the editing and stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
I've been struggling with video ideas recently. Well, not entirely true. I have plenty of ideas. I just don't know which ones to do. Then sometimes I just pick at random. Like I have like a plan, but sometimes like I get excited about something random, and I just, go for it. I just go for it. Something I want to do more of is this, these live stream conversations, because I feel like that brings me closer to my community, and it's just like a way to, be in touch with everyone at the same time, which is great, bringing everyone together.
So I was going to ask you actually, in terms of like this whole feeling more content on BookTube, as opposed to people who are sort of like feeling disconnected and they decide to maybe go on a long hiatus or whatever. Discord is looking really, really positive for you, like with engaging people. Do you think that sometimes as a booktuber, it's worth using other platforms like that to supplement the bits that booktube isn't providing?
So book talk sorry Discord is very important for me, because it's like it's like an everlasting comment section. Like you can go back and forth with people and really, really engage with them. It's a place where you consolidate your community. So if you have people on from TikTok, you have people from Instagram, you have people from Twitter, have people from YouTube, they can all meet. Like everyone came together because of the videos that you're making. Everyone came together because of the videos that you're making. So chances are that they would have something to talk about. I'm watching it on Discord. Like my Discord is a very important part of like my structure, because it's where it makes everything worth it. Like that connection, that and of course eventually I'm going to start taking requests for to see like what people on my Discord want to watch, because those are the people that I'm doing it for. Like those are the people that watch, even though I don't release a video like every week. Like when I do release, those guys show up on the comment section, they message me on my DMs, and it makes doing this so much more worth it. And again, when I don't, because I have gaps where I don't create anything, I don't release. No, no, I'm always creating, but like I have gaps where I don't release anything. I feel like my Discord helps me keep my community together, regardless of if I am being consistent or I'm not being consistent. Everybody still knows where I am. Anyone can still reach me. So it's very important to me. And my Discord is growing, and I'm very, very like excited about that. And yeah, like you have a Discord as well. You sent me an invite, and
Yeah, so it was great when I was doing read-alongs, but I haven't used it since I had paused on the read-alongs.
mhm.
Um, so I've just had a thought about some okie
Dude,
dude.
yeah.
I was going to say dokie, but it is. Sometimes I find that I've got loads and loads of ideas, and then I'm like equally passionate about 3 ideas, and that is almost too difficult to get started, because you're like, well, which one do I go for? But there's time to do all of them. But another tip that I actually saw with people talking about putting content out on BookTube is sometimes get the keyword of your video idea and type it into Booktube and see if like the popularity of it, and then maybe that will help you order which ones you want to tackle first, because you can also then start playing around with the never to be fully known algorithm and convince yourself, maybe I'll crack it this time.
Yeah, like that's great advice. That's great advice. Like if there's an algorithm, the algorithm loves that. So like that's such a hidden gem, like yeah, very important. So I've been scrapping out a couple longer videos that I want to work on, and that takes time. That's the game. That's the game. So D asks a very interesting question. Do you guys rate top 10 videos, and do you think they are useful? Are we succumbing to clicks, or should we inform? So top 10 videos are huge. Top 10 video for me, top 10, top 5, anything that starts with top, a list videos are really, really huge for me. Because so I'd rather do a list video than do a wrap-up video.
Yeah.
You see? Because like a list video, like there's a level of comparison, and if something makes your list, you have to justify it. So like because the worst thing, the worst fear as a booktuber you have is someone, you go and you talk about a book, and at least my worst fear, and I talk about how great a book is, and somebody reads it and just like, that was a little bit mean, I didn't think it was that great. So when you're making a list video, you have to put so much thought into it. You have to really find a way to express why you are ranking it on, like you're putting it on your top 5 or your top 10. So I think list videos are really, really interesting, and they are very useful as well, because I can go to list video. So it's like a list video, like one of my previous videos, top 5 grimdark books. If I saw that kind of video that somebody else created, I can go there and just like add a couple books to my TBR, and just really, yeah, it's definitely very useful. Like I would encourage it, especially if you're growing, and they get clicks as well. So
Yeah, they definitely do. I also like to go for, I like curating stuff. So I do like that whole idea of you pick a topic and you go, so I love this topic, and what are my top 10 or my top 5 within that? I recently did older female protagonists, because I was like, well, you don't often see that. And one of my favorite sci-fi characters is actually a woman in her 70s who is left to live on a planet on her own by choice. It's called Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon. And by thinking about this character, I thought, do you know what? Are there other, characters in books that I've read who are these fabulous older characters? And then I put together the list. So yeah, I definitely enjoy them, actually, to put something together like that.
So Alicia says, I wish I could edit as well as you do. I wish I could express how much I enjoy a book as much as you do. Like so I've been doing a read along with her on the Drowned Kingdom saga, like and I've been working on something, hint hint. But yeah, like it's been really, really enjoyable doing that read along with you. And like we have like discussions with PL Stewart, and yeah, I enjoy being on your channel. So yeah, like yeah, I'm looking forward to creating more and more content with you. And yeah, this is a very, very painful thing to do, packing. So I moved from Ottawa to Vancouver, and when I was moving, I had so many books because they were too heavy to go on the plane, and I'm still traumatized about that. I want to like I've stopped buying much hardcover books and more ebooks and like audiobooks, because I didn't want to lose my books again physically. I wanted to have my books forever. So yeah, that's a painful process, and yeah, like I feel for you right there. What is interesting was that she made a video about why booktubers are dropping, and that was like my first inspiration to have this live chat. So if you haven't seen her video and this is a topic you want to like get even deeper in, go to Strange Mentality Papers channel and check out that video. Let's see. Just trying to keep up with the comments with the things. Wrap up videos are hard for me to do because I read so many different genres. Do it anyway. Do it. And you can make your wrap up videos according to your to genres. You can make wrap up videos according to, I don't know, just what you read. Like, do it anyway. Like, that would be great.
Yep.
I like wrap up lists and stuff. They introduced me to books I might not have on my radar. Yeah, that's like, booktube just being booktube and providing with all these recommendations. So I don't know how Katya is feeling right now. I know that she has another live stream somewhere else. So if you enjoy her vibe as much as I do, make sure to go and check it out there. Katya, do you mind putting like the link to your other live stream so that
Oh yeah. Hey,
yeah.
where do I put it?
You see the comments.
In
You
the
go to comments right there. Just put it there,
Okay.
and yeah, I think it comes out as a link.
Okay. Can I see comments? Ah, there we go. Chat with everyone in the show.
Yeah, Epic recommended Rage of Dragons to me. I'm reading that now, and the book freaking awesome. I'm glad. That's what I love to hear. I say a book is good. Somebody reads it. I'm like, I agree with you. That's all the validation I need for the rest of this month. So yeah, like I would really love to know your thoughts about it. I think Tao is one hell of a character. And yeah, like his I love Evan Winter's fighting scenes as well. So, you know, yeah, you should have.
Evan Winter. So when is that third book coming out? What's
So
happening?
I think it's coming out this year.
Okay, that's
It's coming
good.
out this year
Be-
because yeah, go ahead.
yeah, because that was one of the books that really got me, wanting to talk about books on BookTube.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
Rage of Dragons.
Like for me, what I found very interesting was in the book they use Nigerian names. Like the names in that book are Nigerian names. I had a friend called Udoak in high school, and I know like if you're like in you're American or you're European and you see the names that yeah that is normal for you, but seeing like African names in a fantasy novel was like it made me connect with it like it did something to me that book, man. I really enjoyed that book. I really enjoyed it. So before I know you have to leave soon, but before you go, what does the future hold for you within the booktube community and your booktube channel in general? Let the people know.
So in terms of what I do, I'm still going to be reading eclectically, but it's about spotlighting global literature and diverse voices. So my passion really, I love fantasy, but I'm sort of like doing this crossover. So quite a lot of the fantasy that I do is diverse voices and also translated fiction, because there's a lot of the genre coming out from other countries that we haven't had a chance to dive into, and that I want to spotlight.
Hmm, hmm. Really excited for that. So I just put the link to her next live stream. It's on the description. So if you want to hop on that, I think she has to leave soon. Am I right?
Yep. I better
Okay.
go because Margaret might be in the studio, so I'll head off. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Have a wonderful time,
Okay,
and thank
bye.
you for coming on my channel. So, guys, I'm going to be here for a little bit more. I'm going to drop the link for this studio. So, if you're online and you want to join me and just like nerd out about books and anything, you can join the live stream. And let me see. I'm going to post it on my Discord. Just give me 1 second. This is the link. Copy. Go to my Discord. Let's see. So on the share your content channel, the StreamYard link is there. If you want to join me on this Discord, let me know. I'll be happy to, yeah, to speak about it. Yeah. Let's see. I just think one of the main reasons his fight scenes are so great is he trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yes, like it's always interesting. I find interesting how like people can, you know, write about and leverage their real life experience in their writing, because that just makes it feel a lot more authentic and relatable to to experience as a reader. So his experience in that is definitely something that shows up in the books. Epic, have you read Son of the Storm? I think you would really, really, two reallys, really, really like it. Okay, Son of the Storm. I wonder what that is about. I will check it out. I'll look it up after the the live stream. And Sochi agrees as well. So I posted the link on the description of the of the video. So if you go to the description, you should be able to see it there. I said Katya's next live stream, so it's in the description. I don't know if like links will work here on the chat. Let me actually try. Why not? Yeah, that's the thing. Yes, yes, yes. We need more diverse leading characters in everything. Yes, so I agree with you 100%. I have a little caveat about it. If you're going to do diversity, if you're going to like, focus on diversity, it shouldn't be compromising to the story. It shouldn't be fake, and it needs to be authentic. It needs to feel like you need to know what you're talking about. You need to approach the different culture or whatever you're trying whatever diversity you're trying to put in the story. It needs to be authentic. You need to represent it in a way that isn't condescending. And for me, like that has been one of like the biggest turnoffs for me recently when I'm reading a book, and yeah, it just doesn't like, it feels like okay, you're like you want to do diversity and you want to include black people, and like it's just like throwing them a bone. Let me throw the black community a bone or something. Like I like it when it feels real, when it feels authentic, and that is something that Rage of Dragons manages to do. Would have loved to out on a walk with the kids, spend time with your kids. And yeah, like we're definitely going to do stuff on my channel together. Like I would love to do some content with you. So yeah, like we can figure that out later. What impresses me so much is the length of some of these fights. Just us. I don't know where you are in the book right now, but there was a fight scene, and like I'm not gonna like spoil anything, but a character was watching Tao fight, and that is like some of the best like description of like a fight scene, especially in a war sequence that I've read ever. It's just so goddamn epic, you know. So yeah, like give it a shot. Give it a shot. I'm gonna stay online for a little bit more. Again, like it's always easier to do these live streams when you're with someone and you can, throw ideas about and go back and forth. So if anybody, I sent you the link to the book in Discord. Thank you. So if anybody wants to join the live stream, we can kick it there. I sent you the link to the book in Discord. I'm gonna check it out for sure. I'm gonna check it out. The two-sworded demon. Oh my god, Tao is such a, and I like something I like about Tao so much. It's like his how he gets skilled. Like the magic system. I don't know. We'll talking about the magic system be a spoiler. I don't think so. It could be, I guess, but the way Tao develops himself, the way and this is something. So I feel like watching a character grow, right? you can watch a character grow in like in several different ways. And one of the ways I enjoy watching the characters I'm reading grow is in competence, not just as a character emotionally or getting more mature. Like all of that is great, but I love to see a character developing in competence, and I like to see the character play an active role in his development of his competence, because and that is why one of the reasons I love Tao's development. You know, sometimes when you say character development, some people assume that just you're talking about his maturity, or like some I don't know, some character, like some some maturity, or that kind of stuff, or his evolution of his ideologies, and his growth in handling like pain and trauma, and his ability to handle different stuff. But sometimes just competence is exciting enough, and I feel like that is something that anime has a lot of, that books, fantasy books don't usually don't have enough emphasis on. So yeah, like watching Tao's development and his active role in his development is one of the reasons I like him, because like outside of reading books, I can definitely relate. So it looks like everybody's shy and nobody wants to join me on the live stream. I'll give it maybe 5 more minutes, and then I'll dip if nobody joins me on the live stream. But I'm so grateful that so many people turned up. And yeah, like on Epic Tales, I can assure you that there's more content coming up. There isn't a day I wake up and I don't think for hours about Epic Tales. So exciting content coming up. The second part of the year is going to be very, very exciting. So stay tuned. I'm in touch with my artist. I'm in touch with my sound people. I'm in touch with and I have like a lot of what they call it, a lot of like projects that I'm working on simultaneously. We definitely have to do more discussions together for sure. Yes, yes. To Sochi, you and Sochi, I'm waiting for you guys to get up to speed with the memory, sorrow, and thorn. Like I just want to throw up my ideas and my experience reading the book. It's easy to see why it's a classic. And yeah, I'd just love to know what you think about it, and if we agree on some things concerning the character development that I feel like I need to talk about when it comes to Siomen or Simon. This was a good time heading to a baseball game with the family. Enjoy your weekend, Epic, and everyone in the chat. Thank you for showing up. Thank you so much for showing up, Dan. Really, really do appreciate it. And yeah, like have fun with your family, and yeah, like have a great time. About to start book 2. So thank you everyone for showing up again, and yeah, I really, really appreciate the turnout, and stay epic, and peace.